It is a cool and airish morning here in the mountains of southern Appalachia. We've had a lot of rain, so everything is really wet and muddy, and we've got some standing water in the backyard. Standing water. I had to go to town this morning between here and Murphy. All the little branches alongside the road are just full and overflowing into the road. So it was a lot of rain, and I think we're supposed to get more rain in another day or two. But in between the two, me and Matt are outside trying to do a few things. We can't really do much because of all that wet weather. But in my drive to clean out and go through things that I've been doing, if you watch our videos, you'll know that, I found something in the basement that I had totally forgotten about. It was a Christmas present that Matt got me 2 Christmases ago, maybe, and it just got covered up with other stuff, and we just never thought anything else about it. But it is a type of cold frame, a cold frame. Now, we've never used one of those. We don't really know much about it, but we're going to open it today, and Matt's going to put it together, and I think we're going to, maybe I'll put some lettuce in it, maybe some cabbage. I've got the cabbage growing inside, but we'll see if it does any better out in the elements and just see how it works. And because of all that rain, even standing here, I don't know if it's picking it up on the camera, but I can really hear the creek. It is really rolling because of that. So Matt and I want to walk down there and see it rolling on down towards Brasstown. Lots of directions. Looks like you got a helper to help you.
I don't have much help here, babe. I'm just getting away.
It seems strange to come out with a piece of aluminum foil, but I have a plan with it.
Okay, that's what I was saying. What are you doing?
Look.
I sent you some gloves.
So sweet.
Oh, yay! The best pair of gloves you've ever had. Looks cool.
Should I
Hey.
put the other one on?
Yeah, you should. It matches your shirt. You should show Beans, because I think he would like it. I'm going to use my aluminum foil to texture some metal. I'm going to attempt to. Alright, well, I'll leave y'all to it. Carry on. Mama, did you get that for Christmas, or did you buy it?
I got it for Christmas about 2 Christmases ago.
Oh, so that's why I
And
don't remember.
it got buried in the...
So it's been underappreciated so long that I've forgotten where it came from.
Yeah. Oh, no. It's not that it was underappreciated, it's that it's lost it in the mess of our basement.
Yeah, think about it like this. That give you a reprieve for 2 years of having to put it together. So.
Yeah, but all sentences have to be carried out at some point, and today's the day.
Yeah. Today's the day.
I'm going to get a drill.
Okay.
As Mitch used to call it, a drill motor.
Drill motor.
And Melvin said, bring the drill too. What do I do with horses? It's cold.
It is cold. I didn't realize it's cold, or I might have said let's let the Christmas present stay a little while longer.
Oh yeah, they got the plastic on these too.
Yeah.
That'd burn it.
Here, I can help you do that part.
Here. Now we have a P2. That's going to be an end. And I'm going to need one there and one of them here.
Oh wow, it's really going to be big. I did not realize it was this big.
Don't dismiss my Christmas presents till you look them over.
Well, I'm not dismissing
1, 2,
it. I'm
3.
just saying I just didn't realize
So
it was so
those go in the
big.
top 3 holes.
Thought it was just going to be like 2 foot by 1 foot or something. So,
Don't do dinky. You know.
you want me to move this down? Away? This is the brand of it. And Matt can't remember, since it's been so long, where he got it. But I bet if you just search that online, if you were interested, you'd be able to find it. And unlike a lot of cold frames that have like glass, looks like this one has plastic, just like a plastic cover. So we'll just have to see how it, when Matt gets to that point, how it all goes together. What do you call those things, Matt? Like a stabilizer or something?
Brace or something.
brace. Matt's putting in the brace now. Helps it stay more stable since it's so long and flimsy.
Yeah. What we want to do is this. Too far away from my bolts. 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, the best part about these things is
What?
when you put them together on a cold day, your temper will keep you warm.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Because it'll make you mad. So we can go ahead and take this where it's going
Yeah.
and then put that thing together and put it to the top on. The whole thing just sits down over top of it.
Okay.
Now we might need to figure out some way to pin it down. If it ain't got somewhere, it'd blow it away.
Yeah.
But anyway,
We want to, I just thought it'd be better, I don't know where we're going to put it, but put it up in the sunshine where the so much sun is. In the back, there's still not much sunshine this time of the year.
put it down here.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so. I think
Let's
that'd
go
be
look and
best.
see.
All right. Matt got a place fixed up here for it. When we first started, I didn't realize it was so big. I thought it was like this little thing you could just pick up and move around. I was thinking like, you know, fit on the top of a desk or a side table or something like that. So once we seen how big it is, that's not something we're going to want to move. But then Matt said we could just pick it up. It would be pretty easy to move, but I thought we'd put it kind of down here at the bottom, and maybe we won't even move it. Maybe once we take the top off of it, we'll plant something else in it. I know that time gets away from us, so that may be what happens. As far as the seeds, I ran in and got some seeds. I got some lettuce, some beets, even though last year I had such great success with the beets, planting them when the dogwoods bloom. I just can't resist trying inside this warmth, see what happens. And I got, oh, that's fine. Yeah, you don't have to level it. I think it's fine. And I got some radishes. Those are all things that are spring of the year vegetables to grow that can stand a little bit of cold, but you know, it'll just be fun to experiment. A lot of you, especially those of you who are farther north, probably have a lot of experience with this. You can share it and we can learn from you too.
So you want dirt in it?
Yeah, I think it'd probably be okay to put that mulch there is almost completely disintegrated into dirt. I think we could put that, and then we could put some of this on top maybe. I can get a shovel and I can help you. I guess our shovels are at the greenhouse. I'll go get them. You can see how much water we've had. Got some ponds back here at the greenhouse. Everything nice and dry in here though. And Matt's going to have to figure out how to put the top in there. Is it complicated?
No, not too bad.
Should I go ahead and plant?
If you like.
And then you just put that on top?
Uh-huh.
Wonder how if it flips up, if it got a top that opens or...
Yeah, it does.
These were some of the, I don't know if you can see in the sunshine, this was a radish, Easter egg radish. I got some Merlot lettuce, like a purple lettuce, some black-seeded Simpson, that's what Pap and Granny used to grow all the time. Some cherry bell radishes, early wonder tall top beet, and then I brought out some of the Copenhagen and late flat Dutch. I just can't resist maybe planting just a few seeds just to see what they do, see what happens. I think we've got it together. This is the plastic that goes over it. You can see the sunshine can, I hope, shine through that. Then these two, there's panels on this side that you could roll up to reach in to get what you needed, or I guess to water, or to just allow some airflow. There you go. I think there's some, it's got Velcro down there at the bottom, kind of hold it down. So I don't know, interesting. It'd be neat to put, we could put a little thermometer out here to see how warm it gets in there.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-oh, did it come off? May not be the highest quality. It's strange how it doesn't, I mean, this side's longer. That's what I was thinking over there until I felt the Velcro. I thought, well, does it go all the way around? You just have to go back up on one side. It's strange. Cheaply made, because it don't even meet, like there's no bottom for it, like most zippers have. Well, doesn't say much for the quality of it that we've already had to tape, but you can see the zippers, how they're one, I don't know why it comes down like that and stops, and this one stops right there. So on this zipper, it just kept coming and come right on out. We tried to put the zipper back, but just couldn't get it back, and then the zipper broke. So hopefully this will help keep in the warm air, and then we can still unzip this one until it breaks, which I'm sure it will. Matt said we could put plastic over it, like the greenhouse plastic, and just roll it back and roll it down. But for now, we'll try this and see what happens. Looks good if it'll just stay together.
Yeah.
Thinking about the wind blowing, it's very windy today. Matt's kind of putting some dirt, or some dirt and rocks around the edges. Try to hold it down. Probably help insulate it too.
Yeah.
Sort of a pond down here too. Look, this is, water's moving. That's coming from that wet water spring, isn't it? that's coming up from the middle of the garden. That's not just mud holes, that's actually that wet weather spring is flowing down the garden. Looks pretty nice, huh? I wish it'd stay like that too. Yeah. You can see the water here moving through the garden. Oh, I would have loved to have played in that when I was a girl. This area up here is where it's coming from. This is always damp part of the garden, even in the dry summers. This is the area that's wet because of the wet weather spring. See, it's got quite a bit of water even up in here. Where do you think the spring originates from? Right here? Matt says the spring actually starts here in the yard instead of in the garden. I've always known it was wet, but I never did know exactly where it started from. I don't know why it was in the creek, but that's actually not a very old one. No, so I don't know. Washed down from somewhere though.
First off, I'm being held against my will. And I don't want to be here, and I'm forced, and I don't like this.
Matt's teasing. Because we got comments that Matt's being forced to do these videos, and just because he doesn't have a bubbly personality.
Thanks for
You
noticing.
could get you some cheerleading things and just say, happy to be here.
Pom-poms and a little skirt. And
Yeah.
that's just my face, I guess. I forgot that before. So, yeah, I'm quite happy right here, and I live here, so that's a good thing. You know, it would be unfortunate if I wasn't, but that's just my personality must just offend some people, and I don't mean to.
You said when you worked at the college, people sometimes would say you were mad or mean all the time or something.
Yeah, I would pass people in the hall all the time, and they would want to know what's wrong with me, or it can't be that bad, or cheer up, or smile, and I'm all the time thinking about all kinds of stuff. Even when I'm doing something else, I'm thinking about something else, and it just must be
Just your expression.
I guess it must be pretty bad. I don't never see it, so.
It's like the
But we get that a whole lot.
the Home Alone movie. Somebody else was talking about something else about this, but it makes me think of that. Remember the first Home Alone movie, the neighbor, how he thinks he looks really mean and he's afraid and he's dragging the trash cans or whatever, but then it turns out he's just the nicest man. He's just lonely, and he just, like Matt said, he just looks, in the eyes of a child, he just looked mean. He wasn't really mean, wasn't really hateful and all that, but anyway, so
Yeah.
now you've had your disclaimer.
I've got that out of the way.
Nobody's forcing you to be here.
I'm quite happy to be here. Let's move on.
Until the next time.
Yeah, well. I won't say nothing about it again probably, but, you know.
Yeah.
What are we, 3 years in, and this is the first time
Yeah, that's true.
that I've said anything, so, yeah. This is much better than the way it was.
It's a pretty good gig.
It is, yes.
We're very blessed.
Right.
Very blessed, yeah. So we got a lot done today. If you think I look different, it's because I went and got my ears lowered. Is that what you say? Get your ears lowered. Got my hair cut in between when we finished up outside. Took Granny. Actually, it was a big day for haircuts. It was Granny, me, Katie, and Ira's first haircut. So really exciting at a time. But anyway, now we're back, and I can't believe how cold it is. Like, I was cold when we were out and Matt was doing all the work. I went in and got me some hand warmers, put them in my coat, some of the ones I got Matt for Christmas. And then we went out to get our hair cut, and I just got chilled. I was just freezing. So coming back and sitting by the stove, and I made us some golden milk, and this is really nice.
You need to eat more red meat.
I need some red meat.
Right. It'll warm you up.
Yeah. I'm glad we got when I drove back up the driveway looking at our little greenhouse. I hope it works. It's really exciting to try. And if it doesn't really work for like growing plants in the cold, then we'll just take the cover off and use it as a raised bed. Yeah, so either way.
It'll work for that. And it'll work for this too. If the plastic will stay together and little junky little zippers, and if it don't, we'll throw a piece of greenhouse plastic over it and it'll work.
Yeah.
I mean, it just definitely will.
I didn't realize it was that big, which is really nice that it is, but I thought we would just like, it was just, like a little tabletop thing. It's been hidden all this time.
Yeah, I knew where it was.
I just forgot about it. Forgot. It's kind of like I got a Christmas present again, though. See, isn't that nice?
Actually,
and
what this is Valentine's
what I was going to say.
So I don't really have to get anything.
That's what I was going to say. It's a Valentine's Day present, yeah. There you go. Happy Valentine's to me.
I'm smarter than I look.
Yeah.
Actually, it just worked out that way, but it worked out good.
It did, yeah. One time on Valentine's Day, I don't remember what it was that tore up, something about the drains or something, and Pap was having to work on it. And many, many, many years before that, Granny's ring, her engagement ring, had went down the drain, never to be seen again. So many years, nobody had even thought about it. Granny was sad when it happened, but it was too late. Of course, Pap took apart the trap and tried to find it and all that, but he couldn't. Anyway, but many, many years later, on Valentine's Day, he was having to dig in the muck, dig in the dirt to fix whatever was going on with the drains, and he found her ring.
That's cool.
Yeah, found it on Valentine's Day and give it back to her. So, that was sweet.
Mm-hmm.
It's handy when we do work on stuff. You was talking about your big tool. It's not really a tool box. Yours is more like a tool backpack.
Yeah, it's a backpack.
And where did you acquire that?
I ordered it from somewhere. I don't know. It's a Klein brand, I think. And I bought it when I was still doing maintenance for the county because we had to do so much going up ladders and stuff with tools. And I thought, well, what I had prior to that was just like tool bags and stuff. And then I usually had so many tools in them they wouldn't hold up.
Yeah.
Because I'm a tool heavy kind of guy. Back when I worked especially, because if you don't have the right tool for the job, what's the point? So I always try to be sure I've got plenty of what I need. And then I might have seen somebody, a contractor or something with one of those and thought, no, that's the very thing I need. Mm-hmm. So I got to looking into it and found out when I bought it. And other than it being super heavy, it's fantastic. Works real good going up ladders. It's got all kinds of
big
pockets.
Enough to keep all your stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. And it, we did a lot of work on the roof. And we'd have to go up big long ladders up on, commercial buildings. And by the time you got to the top, you was ready for it to be over with because it's heavy. That thing probably weighs, I don't know, 40 pounds probably.
I can't budge it. I can't pick it up. I can barely, I think it weighs more than that because I can barely budge it over.
Anyway,
if I have to move it.
That just was a whole lot easier than trying to, the only other, prior to that, we'd have to throw a rope off the building and rope the tools up. And some stuff we had to do that way anyway, but I just figured I'd have all my hand tools in one place and I could just wire them up, and it worked out really good. Mm-hmm. Then I just kept it that way after I quit and come home, and I still use out of it just like I always did then.
It makes it easy if you are going like down at Corey and Austin's or wherever. You're going to deer camp, you need to take it with you. You just take the whole thing with you.
And there's a little bit of everything in it, and I know what's in it, and I know what I've got in it, and I can just grab it and go. And if there's something that's not in it that I, And I've got other tools here I can add to it, or
It's your basics.
between it and my big sack of power tools over there and my socket set in the truck, I throw all that in the truck, I just about can do anything. I mean, there ain't a whole lot you can't do, I mean mechanically anyway.
Over the years, Matt's had different forms of that, different bags, and I think you had a bucket one time, like some kind of bucket or
Yeah,
something.
I took a garden bucket and
Yeah.
made a tool thing out of it, and that didn't make it very long, it was heavy.
Yeah.
And then I literally strapped it to a hand truck and kept it on the hand truck.
Yeah.
Boy, I got laughed at for that. It worked.
But you had your stuff, didn't you?
Yeah, you could just roll it anywhere you wanted to go. I mean, that was like a homemade version of the rolling tool bags
Yeah.
that they have now. And I consider buying one of those, but like I said, going up and down ladders and getting up on stuff and working up on roofs and up. We had to do a lot of work on the mechanical systems up inside a drop ceiling and way out in over top of, you know, big meeting rooms and conference rooms and stuff. There's all kinds of utilities and mechanics that's up in there, and it just was easier to put that thing on wire it. So that's why I done it.
Pretty handy.
Mhm.
Until somebody comes and gets something out of it and don't put it back.
Right, then you get crawled away back in yonder somewhere and unzip it, and the slot that it was in is gone,
Yeah.
and that make you mad.
Did that ever happen to you?
Not much at the county it didn't. I mean, those guys, they had their own tools and stuff,
Yeah.
but it didn't happen too much there.
You are a tool person.
Used to be a whole lot. I'm not as much now because I don't do as much now.
Some of your tools you've even retrofitted for you, bent and stuff,
Yeah.
like stuff to make different things.
Yeah, I took wrenches and screwdrivers and heated them and bent them and made you know, either the same kind of tool just for in a different place, or just made a completely different tool out of something. I do that a lot even still, working on stuff. I mean, I started doing that when I was young because we didn't have any tools much then, and the reason we didn't is because I lost most of them, my daddy would say, and that's probably right. But we had an old wood shed, or wasn't really a tool shed, it was just a wooden shed outside the house with a workbench and a vise and just a few tools in there, and I was all the time wondering how something works, so I'd take it apart and look at it. And if I didn't have exactly the right tool, I'd take what tool I had and try to make it fit what I was doing. And I mean, I've done that all my life long.
That's
And
good.
it works,
Yeah, good trait to have.
especially if you've got the stuff to do it with, you know.
You'd rather do that than go to town and get the right tool.
I hate going to town. I hate going to town so bad.
You don't go much.
No, I don't.
I go get groceries, so Matt don't have to do that.
I went out this morning. That's the first time in I don't know how many days I've been out of here.
But you still didn't go to town.
No, I didn't go
Yeah.
to town, but I went away from here.
Yeah.
You know, and I just don't do that as often anymore.
You turned into a hermit.
I've always been that way. I started out that way when I grew up, and maybe that's why I like it now. I don't know. But I'm 10, 12 days at a time. I can stay here and be just perfectly fine. I don't have to go anywhere. I can find something to do. Or you can find me something to do.
Yeah.
Between me and you
I
together,
can force you to do videos.
we can keep me busy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Daddy, the house I grew up in, he done some of the work on it. He contracted, I think, the dry in on it, I believe. I was just real little. But some of the work he done and the tales he told me about some of the stuff I done, losing tools, and he bought the front door to the house, and probably, I think it was a big pre-hung not fancy, but just a big heavy solid core pre-hung door unit, and he put it in, and then it was unfinished. So once he got it in, then he just pulled the pins out of the door, took the door off, and was going to finish the frame. that was already in the wall, and then do the door outside on the sawhorses. And in between that time, I found the pins. And I don't know if he put them back in, probably back in the hinge. Well, I found them and got them out and took them out in the yard and got a hammer and drove them up out of sight in the yard in the grass, and they were never found again. And he got mad about that, of course, but he got really mad when he went to try to buy pins so he could put the door back on the house, and you couldn't just buy the pins, you had to buy the whole hinge set just to get the pins. And he didn't need them, but he had to buy it that way, and boy, he was upset.
Not happy with you.
Yeah. I even drove tools, like wrenches, you know, like craftsman wrenches. I'd just drive them in the ground. I don't know what possessed me to do that, because after the first time, after the discipline I got for the first one, I knew what was coming the next time, yet I did it anyway. I guess I couldn't help myself.
You just wanted to see him go outside, I guess.
It was just such a feeling, I reckon.
Such a good feeling.
It's exhilarating.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I did lots of stuff like that. He said the very opposite side of the house from the door was a den, and it had they put a sliding glass door in it, and it was the same thing. They got the frame in, and for some reason the sliding doors were off the track and leaned up outside against the house. He comes around the house, and I'm right back with a half a brick fixing to bust him, and he just dove at me, or him or somebody, and grabbed me and kept me from doing that.
Oh my goodness. You just wanted to see it break?
I guess. I've done stuff like that all the time. The brick mason was there laying bricks, and I peed in his thermos.
Oh no! Now that was meanness. That wasn't no.
And I've got a really hazy memory of that. I remember I got it. He had some kind of a thermos bottle. It had coffee in it, and he was up on the scaffold above me, or quite a bit above me, and so he couldn't get to me in time. And I can remember unscrewing the lid off that, and he was looking at me, wanting, I guess, knowing what I was doing. Well, he figured out what I was about to do, and he said, "You better not." And before he could get down the scaffold, I had done it. And I reckon my mom and daddy had to buy him a new thermos.
Oh my gosh.
I did stuff like that all the time.
That was mean.
You see what you married?
I know. I'm glad you don't do stuff like that now.
That you know of.
But this goes back to like I could make you do anything.
Right.
Like I could force you to do anything.
Right.
Oh.
I'm just that much independent. Just a little.
Just a little.
Yeah.
Just a little.
Anyway.
Well.
Once I got grown and seen what tools cost and how valuable they are and how useful they are, I don't drive them up in the ground no more.
You take care of them.
Yeah. Now, nobody loses them here, but I've got a big toolbox over here, and it gets, all the junk in the basement gets pushed in front of it, and I can't get to my tools, and that's a highly aggravating thing. Mm-hmm. And we clean it up, and it looks good, and I can get to it for about one day, and then it starts again.
And then it gets pushed back again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's because this is perfect. That's because our basement is a Hurrah's nest. Have you heard of a Hurrah?
I've not heard that one.
So, on the Blind Pig and the Acorn, I wrote about it. If you read the Blind Pig and the Acorn, you've probably already heard this, but a Hurrah's nest. A gentleman named Bill wrote me to ask me if I was familiar with that term, that his grandfather used it. Well, and he thought it meant, this was an example, your hair looks like a Hurrah's nest. And then he wanted to know if I could tell him what that was. Well, I checked the dictionary of the Southern Appalachian English and found this entry was a Hurrah's nest was a noun, a place or thing in complete disorder or confusion. So is that our basement? Hurrah's nest.
That is exactly what that is.
And then their little example, or their source, 1940, Hawk's Done, that book, Hawk's Done. She said the house always looked like a perfect Hurrah's nest, pet goats and everything. 1956 was a book, Sundial, North Carolina. It's just Hurrah's Nest and Untidy Conglomeration. Now, did you ever hear Daddy say conglomeration? That's a conglomeration.
Yeah, I heard him say that a
Daddy
lot.
used that, not the Hurrah's Nest, though. But the Hurrah's Nest and that description of the goats running everywhere reminded me of a time that Matt told me about. It's when you broke down on the river road and you went into a house in the days before cell phones and all that, and so Matt just had to go into, once they realized the truck needed to be pulled or whatever, towed home, they just had to go into the nearest house to see if they could call somebody. No cell phones in those days, and there was a rooster on the TV.
I ain't never been in a house like that. I mean, which is fine, whatever.
Yeah, whatever they want, however they want to live.
But there was multiple chickens inside the house. They had straight back chairs like this one around the table, and every one of them had a chicken roosted on it in the house around the table. There's chickens on the table. There was probably 15 or 20 cats in there, and I don't know how the cats and the chickens kept from...
How they got along in harmony.
But what was on the TV was a turkey.
Oh, I thought it was a rooster. I told on the Blind Pig and Acorn it was a rooster. It was a turkey.
It was, and I mean, a full-grown, big old turkey. Big one. And it's just sitting there with its little, its tail feathers about half displayed, and I mean, it looked like it was that wide, sitting on the TV. And the old lady that lived there, she was scared absolutely to death of me.
Yeah.
I guess she lived there alone, and she's a really old lady. And she probably didn't get many visitors. The place was, the outside of the house was grown up into the house to the point you couldn't even, you couldn't even hardly see it. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure it probably scared her to death. And when I knocked on the door and she came to the door, I tried to talk, just as friendly and smile at her and try to,
Told her you need to use the phone.
Yeah, because I could tell right away she was scared, and I didn't want her to be scared, So I told her what I was there for, and luckily you could turn around and you could see the truck. I said, we're broke down, and I was wondering if I could use your phone, and she finally, let me come in. But I don't know what all else was in the house, but that's just in the kitchen and what I could look and see in the living room. I think there was probably more stuff in there.
Mm-hmm. That was definitely a Hurrah's Nest.
No, I ain't never seen nothing like that.
Which our basement is too, so
Yeah.
we're not saying nothing bad. People should live ever how they want to.
Oh yeah,
but, yeah.
I don't care.
But that little source of the Hawk's Dun reminded me, said goats.
Yeah.
I was thinking, well, maybe there's a goat in there.
They might have been.
On in there
They might
somewhere.
have been. I didn't get that's as far as I got.
Yeah.
Just where the phone was right there in the kitchen. I did kind of look around to be sure I wasn't about to get bit by something
Yeah.
or attacked.
Yeah. That's funny.
Yeah.
Hurrah's Nest.
Of course, now you could just jerk your cell phone out and call somebody.
Yeah, you're different.
But this was
Yeah.
30 years ago.
Yeah. You had to walk and knock on a door. You
Yeah.
have to go far. I mean, but in those days, that's what you would have had to have done.
Yeah, and then, even doing that now would be a little bit concerning, being the one to go up to a house, because
Yeah.
just things ain't like what they was then.
And if you were in the house, it'd be concerning to let someone in your
Yeah, it
house
just-
that you didn't know.
It just
It's
ain't the
different.
same as it
Yeah.
was, and that's not,
Yeah.
30-year time span's not really that long. But, boy, things are a whole lot different, or it feels different.
When I was in high school, our art class went to the Biltmore House for the only time I've ever been there. Really wonderful trip, had a good time. But on the way back, the trip was over. We made it all the way to somewhere in the gorge, and then a Hale Gorge, and the bus broke down. Well, they had like a radio, so they called for, they had to just bring another bus, and we had to get on it. But in the meantime, all the kids on there, which we were high schoolers, but all the kids on the bus, we didn't have no way of telling our parents, don't be there to pick us up, we're late, or we're going to be late, or whatever. And it's one of those houses, Matt, you'll know which one I'm talking about, when you're going that way, already past the rafting and the Hale Outdoor Center and all that, on the other part of that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like you can see the little house over on the left, and there's like a driveway just goes right out to it. There's two of them like that. And I can't really remember which one it was. I think I know which one. But anyway, we all walked out through that road and knocked on the door and asked if we could use their telephone, and explained that we were high schoolers and our bus had broke down and we wanted to alert our parents. I'm sure I can't remember. Everybody probably didn't go, but I know there was a bunch of us, and so I called and said, I'm going to be late. The bus is broke down. They're sending another bus. And of course, that took time because they had to get a bus driver to come get the bus, and they had to make arrangements to tow the other bus and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, but you're right. Now, you'd be kind of afraid to knock on somebody's door, and unless it was somebody you knew, and then of course you wouldn't. And then on the other hand, I'd be afraid about letting people in that I didn't know.
That's different.
Different time.
We, you go back 10 years prior to that, and we didn't even lock the doors.
No.
And a whole lot in the summertime, we didn't even shut the doors.
No, and then we didn't ever take the keys out of the car.
No,
Never.
no.
Never.
When I was growing up, in the summertime, we didn't even, we had the screen door, and the main door of the house wasn't even shut because it was so hot.
And the keys.
And all the windows was up, and that's just the way we slept because it was just because we didn't have air conditioning. It was so hot. And it was always that way. All the vehicles had keys left in them. That way you didn't lose them because it was always in them.
Always in the ignition,
Right.
yeah, so you knew where they's at. And if you needed to move somebody's, if you're family and you got 2 or 3 and you need to move one, you just get in it and move it and back the other one and fix it. Now you gotta, where's the keys? I gotta find the keys.
Yeah, that's a whole nother video at this house.
Yeah.
Golly.
Matt don't like how we keep our keys.
No.
He said he's gonna nail a nail in some area of the living room or kitchen for his personal keys. We throw them all in this wooden dish that Matt got me many, many years ago. But other stuff gets thrown in there, so then it's like you're trying to dig through it and find the keys.
Yeah, it's a source of high blood pressure for me.
Well, one good thing though about having a Hurrah's nest down here in the basement is I had a hidden Christmas present. So now today, what, 2.5 years later, or 2 years, it might have even been 3 years ago. I can't remember how long that's
I
been.
don't think it's been that long.
So 2
I
years.
think it was a year ago this past
Okay,
Christmas.
so 2 years later, in February, I get a nice surprise, and then you get to give me a Valentine's Day that you've already given me for Christmas. So you won too.
I done good. I bought 2 gifts, or 1 gift, and got to give it 2 times.
Right, yeah.
I did good.
You did good. You did. Well, we hope you enjoyed coming along with us today, and we'll keep you updated as whether or not how the little mini greenhouse thing works. Hopefully it will. Hopefully we'll have some early vegetables from in there. Of course, it's about time. We're going to start thinking about planting those things outside anyway.
Just here shortly.
But we'll see if we get any kind of jump start on that. And we hope you'll leave a comment and tell us if you're familiar with the Hurrah's nest. Maybe someone in your family said that, or maybe you say it. Leave a comment and tell us that. I know Bill would appreciate hearing other information about it. And we're always glad when you stop by to help us celebrate Appalachia. I don't know, we could go up there and find something. How about a pizza? Or we got soup left from last night, I think, or did we eat it all? Oh, it's gone.
That whole pot got eaten.
Oh, did it? Okay.
I think there might be just that much
Oh,
left.
okay, I didn't know. So
But yeah, the
Corey
whole-
and Austin finished it off.
They liked it. All 3 of us eat 2 bowls,
Oh, okay.
and then you eat some, and
Yeah, I ate some. It's good.
oh, it was out of this world good.
So easy. So easy.
That needs to be a once a week thing there.
So easy.
Put that in the rotation of cooking.
Yeah, simple and easy and filling and all that.
It's just
good.
extra good. I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
And you can, change it up and substitute different meat in if you
You
wanted
could,
to.
yeah. You could add some other vegetables too if you wanted to. I don't know though, it's hard to mess with something that was so good.
That is true. I enjoyed that though. It was good. You're a pretty good cooker.
Yeah, Corey always wanted to be a cooker. She said, Mom, I want to be a cooker when I grow up because it makes people happy.
Well, she turned into one.
I was like, you're smart, Corey. It does make people happy to feed them. Yeah,
Yeah.
she's turned into a good cooker.
I need to feed that fire a little more.
It feels awful good. Now that winter's gonna come back.
It's supposed to be mid-20s tonight.
I know.
And try to get it off the garden so we can plow if it'll ever dry out.
It's gonna have to dry out. I seen rain next week too.
It's gonna have to.
I saw.
It'll be days and days before we can get on it like now with that spring running in.
I saw, which I'd already noticed it, of course, but I saw Trampas's building today.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a big one.
Yeah. But I saw what you was talking about with the post, yeah.
Yeah, and what they've done, I think, I didn't look close, but I think they've bought the iron rafters pre-made, or had somebody make them, and all they've got to do is put the posts and the beams up, and then they just set them rafters on there. But it's the same concept as what I'm thinking about doing. I'll just do it the old way and do my own ridge pole and all that stuff, and just like people done many years ago.
Okay.
I think it'll make more room.
Yeah.
It'll be more open, in other words.
Yeah. Sounds good to me. All right, let's go.